Who Moved My Cheese for Kids? An amazing way to change and win. Let's get started. Once upon a time, there lived 4 little friends named Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Ha. Every morning they put on their running shoes and got ready to look for what made them happy. Magical cheese. Magical cheese was special because when you found it, it made you feel good about yourself. It was hidden somewhere in a big maze where there were many different places to go. Sniff and Scurry were very smart and always remembered where they had been before. So they kept exploring in new places where the cheese might be. Sniff had a great nose. He could sniff the air and smell where the cheese was. Scurry, he was fast. He could scurry ahead and get to the cheese quickly. Hem and Ha were also smart. They read books and studied maps to find the magical cheese. Let's try going this way, Ha would say. I'm not so sure, Hem would answer. Hem and Ha did not want to get lost in any dark corners, so they went through the maze slowly, one step at a time. Day after day, the 4 friends searched through the large maze to find the cheese. They went into dark areas and ran into dead ends. But then they just turned around and headed off in a new direction. Then, all of a sudden, one lucky day, it happened. All 4 friends found something wonderful. What do you think it was? They found magical cheese. It was inside one of the large rooms called Cheese Station C. It had been there all the time, just waiting for someone to find it. Whoopee! Cried Ha. Hooray! Yelled Sniff and Scurry. Hem shouted, There's enough here to last us all forever. Sniff liked the orange slices that smelled nice. Scurry nibbled on the hard yellow cubes of cheese. Hem liked the kind with holes in it. And Ha enjoyed the soft white cheese shaped like a wheel. Each began to imagine what the magical cheese could bring them. Sniff pictured himself playing with new friends at Blue Cheese Park. Scurry imagined himself scoring the winning goal in cheese soccer. Ha saw himself getting good grades at Bry Elementary School. And Hem dreamed he lived in a great home atop Swiss Cheese Hill. Later, as night fell, they all headed toward their little houses. The next morning, Sniff and Scurry woke up early and laced up their running shoes. They raced through the maze straight to Cheese Station C. When they got there, Sniff smelled the cheese to see if it was still fresh, and Scurry measured it to see how much was left. When they were satisfied there was enough cheese for another day, they took off their running shoes and hung them around their necks so they could find them quickly if they needed them again. Then Sniff and Scurry settled in and began to enjoy the magical cheese. Meanwhile, Hem and Ha slept later and later. We already know where the cheese is, Hem thought. I don't need to hurry. Ha yawned. It's comfortable here in my bed. I'll just sleep a little more. When Hem and Ha finally arrived at Cheese Station C, they made themselves right at home. Hem built himself a cheese chair to relax in. Ha wrote on the wall, Having cheese makes me happy. Day after day, Sniff and Scurry got up early, scurried over to Cheese Station C, and measured the cheese to see what was happening. But Hem and Ha slept later and later every day. They did not pay much attention to the cheese. They just expected it to always be there. Can you see what is happening to the cheese? Then one morning, Sniff and Scurry arrived early at Cheese Station C to find that the cheese was gone. They were not completely surprised since they had noticed the supply of cheese had been getting smaller. They knew that they were going to have to go back into the maze to look for new cheese. I bet it will be just as good as the old cheese, said Scurry. Even better, said Sniff. He squealed. Ooh, the new cheese will be even better. Much later, him and Ha arrived at empty Cheese Station C. They looked around. They could not believe their eyes. Him yelled, "What? No cheese? No cheese? Who moved my cheese?" Him got very angry. He thought the cheese would always be his, something he deserved to have no matter what. He jumped up and down shouting, "It's not fair!" Ha was just as disappointed as him, but he did not yell or stamp his feet. Ha stood perfectly still, like a statue. He did not know what to do. He was shocked. Then Ha noticed something. "Him," he said, "where is Sniff and Scurry?" Him looked around. "I don't know," he answered. "I bet they went back into the maze to find new cheese," said Ha. "Maybe we should too." "No," said Him. "I don't want to. It's safer to just wait until they put the old cheese back here again." Ha listened to his friend and he became afraid too. "I guess you're right, Him," Ha said. The next day, Him and Ha went back to empty Cheese Station C. They were hoping the cheese would be back. Every day, they waited and waited and waited, hoping for everything to be just like it was before. Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry were sniffing and scurrying through the maze, looking for new cheese. Some days they found little bits of magical cheese and stopped for a quick snack. They always left some behind for their friends, Him and Ha. Then they found a new area of the maze. It was called Cheese Station N. The cheese supply was 10 times bigger than back at Cheese Station C. But Him and Ha were still waiting back at empty Cheese Station C. Finally, Ha looked at his friend and started laughing. "Ha, ha, look at us. We look funny. Things have changed, but we haven't changed." Him was too mad to laugh. But when Ha laughed at himself, he felt better. Then Ha wrote on the wall, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" Ha knew. "Let's go into the maze, Him." But Him said, "No, I don't want to go." For a change, Ha did not listen to Him. He said, "It's time to change and find new magical cheese." Ha shouted, "It's maze time," and ran into the maze. At first, Ha was nervous because he did not know what was going to happen. But the more Ha thought about how much he would enjoy new magical cheese, the more confident he became. He felt free. He wondered, "Why do I feel so good?" He realized it was because he was not so afraid. He wrote on the wall, "When you stop being afraid, you feel good." He hoped that Him might come along and read the handwriting on the wall. Ha even drew arrows to show which way he was going. Then he ran on into the maze. And there, around the corner, he came upon Cheese Station E. And he found nothing. Cheese Station E was empty except for a few bits of cheese. "I bet there used to be more cheese here, but Sniff and Scurry probably ate it," Ha said. "If I had just changed faster, I could have shared it with them." He went over and wrote on the wall of Cheese Station E, "The sooner you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can find new cheese." As Ha went into new areas of the maze, he found more and more bits of magical cheese. It did not taste anything like the old cheese he was used to. Ha was surprised. "It tastes better. I'll go back and tell Him about this." So he went through the maze all the way back to his friend in Cheese Station C. When Ha arrived, he found Him lying on the floor. "Him!" he cried. "Him!" Him said weakly, "Ha, I am so glad to see you. It's lonely here. Did you find more cheese out there? The kind I like with the holes in it?" "Well, No, said Ha, but I did find a few bits of new magical cheese. It's really good. Here, try some. Oh no, said Him. I don't think I would like it. I'll just wait until they put my old cheese back. Him, the old cheese is gone, said Ha. It's time for us to find new cheese. I know it seems scary at first, but once you get going, it's fun. No, said Ha stubbornly. So sadly, Ha waved goodbye and went back into the maze. Ha was sad his friend would not change, but he was not going to stay in empty cheese station C feeling sorry for himself. He went to explore the maze as he really believed he could find new cheese. Soon, Ha raced along and exclaimed, "Aha! I feel good because I have changed. I'm doing something new. It's fun. I like the new me." Then, Ha entered the darkest part of the maze. To help him find his way, Ha imagined his new magical cheese. He pictured himself finding and enjoying his new magical cheese. He felt better and better. Ha thought, seeing this picture is like having a dream, even while I'm wide awake. It seems so real. What do you think your new cheese could be? The more Ha imagined himself finding something better, the easier it was for him to find his way. He stopped and wrote on the wall, "Imagining your new cheese helps you find it." When he moved on, he found himself in a part of the maze with new smells and new colors. It was brighter and welcoming. Then Ha rounded the corner and was absolutely amazed at what he saw. Can you guess what it was? Right in front of Ha was Cheese Station Inn. "Wow, look at all this new magical cheese," he exclaimed. He drove right into it, just like he had imagined. Then he shouted, "This is better than old cheese." Ha's dream had come true. He was so happy. Then he heard the sound of laughter. Ha looked over and saw Sniff and Scurry, who were so glad that Ha had arrived. Ha realized, I should have moved to the new cheese sooner, the way Sniff and Scurry did. Ha helped Scurry measure the cheese to see how much there really was. From now on, I'm going to pay attention to what is happening with the cheese. Then he wrote on the wall, "Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old." Later, Ha thought about his journey through the maze. He had learned a lot. It seems like only yesterday he believed change happened to him, like when someone moved his cheese from Cheese Station C. Now he realized that the best change happens inside of you, like when you believe a change can lead to something better. After thinking about his time in the maze, he wrote on the wall what he had learned. The handwriting on the wall. Having cheese makes you happy. What would you do if you weren't afraid? When you stop being afraid, you feel good. The sooner you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese. Imagining your new cheese helps you find it. Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. Move to the new cheese and enjoy it. All of a sudden, Ha thought he heard a sound somewhere in the maze. Was someone coming? Had Ha read the handwriting on the wall and found his way? Ha turned his head and crossed his fingers for good luck. He hoped with all his might that maybe his friend was finally able to move to the new cheese and enjoy it. The end. Man, such a great story with such a very valuable lesson for both children and adults. Change can be scary, but learning to adapt to change can offer great rewards. I hope that you enjoyed the story as much as I did, and please come back for more stories.